Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. Do you know the dangers of in-home care service? There's a lot of them, and my guests today are going to enlighten you with some information that I think that you need to know about. We welcome Bode Swanson and Quincy Novell with Salus Homecare. Hello, you two.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Good to be back.
Nice to have you back.
Yeah.
Quincy, it's the first time on the show. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I know that we've got a lot of important things to talk about, as we were discussing before the show. I've had family members fall victim to some of these topics. But before we go there, let's talk about the history of caregiving in Laguna Woods Village.
So I've been with Salus for almost 14 years now. I've been in the industry about 30 years. So I've seen a lot of change over the years, and we love to help. We love to keep clients protected, and it's always best to go through an agency versus private.
Yeah, historically speaking, a lot has changed legally. When I started in this industry in 2003, it was just kind of coming out of obscurity. It was kind of a small mom and pop industry, and more and more people were needing the service. So as the demand has grown, of course, the state of California has gotten involved, and they've tried to regulate it and control it. And so what used to be a reasonably priced service, $15 an hour when this is 2003, 2004, 5, now is more like $40, $38, $40 an hour. And so people might ask, well, why? Why is it so expensive now compared to what it was 10 years ago or 15 years ago? And the reason is since the state got involved, they've created a lot of legal parameters that we now have to work around, like overtime, and there's a sleep benefit, and there's meal time, and all these things that didn't used to exist. So now we have to cover all that. But the reason I feel like it's important for people to understand the history of caregiving or in Laguna Woods is the main question might be, why is it so expensive? And the reason is we are covering workers' comp, we are covering liability insurance, we are covering or ensuring that the client is protected against all eventualities, really, in the home. Wherein if you hire privately someone from care.com or Facebook or your neighbor's caregiver's cousin, there's no protections. And then you're really vulnerable and you can be taken advantage of.
Absolutely. So when did the certification come to be?
Do you remember? 2000? I
don't remember.
It's probably been 10 years. I don't remember the exact year.
It was AB 241?
Yeah.
Do your clients generally feel safer having a service like yours, where they know all of those bases are being covered?
I think for the majority, yes. I mean, as soon as we explain the reasons why. I mean, we do carry, they're all employees of our agency. We don't 1099 any of them. And we cover them for liability. And a lot of people don't know that after you hire someone and you have them for multiple years, once a patient passes and you no longer need them, they can go after you for unemployment, and you still have to pay this person for up to 6 months.
So that's just one example of a risk by not using an agency.
Yes. I have a patient in Laguna Woods who had a private caregiver. I got this case through Adult Protective Services. But she had a caregiver for, I think, up to 7 years, a live-in for her husband. When he passed away of Parkinson's, this was during COVID time, they could not kick this live-in out of the home. She had to get an attorney for that, and she had to pay unemployment. So she needed a caregiver for her. She had to pay us for caregiving, as well as covering the caregiver that was private for her husband who had passed away.
So what gave that caregiver the right, or the idea that she had the right to remain in the home?
It was a male, and I think I don't know what
Like
they
a
call
squatter?
it. Yes, it was squatter law or whatever.
So the laws were in his favor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a 6-month battle before they finally got him out. And she also had to pay unemployment, which was a very sad thing for her.
But with an agency, we would never do that. I mean, we would never put a client in a situation where someone uninvited or unwanted is in your home. As a matter of fact, if you have a caregiver through our agency and for whatever reason you don't like the caregiver, it's not a good fit, personality, just change it. So we're never putting a client in harm's way. The other thing about the 1099 versus W-2, we employ all of our caregivers. When a caregiver comes in that's hired privately, the client also has to file their taxes, also has to issue the 1099 for the patient. So there's all these little legal parameters that they have to kind of work within and obey in order to stay compliant with the law. And no caregiver is telling a client that. No age. And I'll just say one more thing. A lot of times, the 1099 companies will pose as a W-2 agency like Salus. They'll say, "Oh yeah, they'll pretend like they're doing things in a legitimate way, but they're actually not." So the red flag, I always say, if you going rates now for an hourly caregiver are around 40,
35
right?
to 38 if it's 8 hours or more.
So high 30s. If you see an agency that's low 30s, it should just be a red flag.
Red flag.
I'm not saying that it's definitely a bad actor or whatever, but no one can afford to run a company doing things legally and pay a caregiver $30 an hour.
Right, unless
Do your
they're
research.
working for themselves, which brings me to my next question, which is super important because there's so many fraudsters out there. Let's say we've got grandma, mom, dad looking on Facebook or looking on Craigslist, or maybe it's word of mouth, and they find, I'm going to call it an imposer, a caregiver imposer.
Yep.
I mean, what are the risks there?
It's the same thing. They're private. And, many people think they're protected because they will show them their little HCA license, which is their Homecare
Good point.
license through the state of California. But that only means that they went through the state to get their certification.
The personal certification.
But no one keeps track of them after they get that.
Yeah, and
if
is
they were
there any
arrested
phone number
after.
to call to verify
Good question.
these individuals?
I don't know.
There is a number. I don't have that with me right now, but yes. But that doesn't mean that they have workers' comp insurance. It doesn't mean that they can go after, they could still go after for unemployment because you're hiring them privately. If you are writing a check and paying the client or paying the caregiver privately through your own checkbook, you're carrying all liability.
Yeah. Yeah, so the certification just means that their skills have been checked,
Sure.
which is good. And a lot of the times, people are going to be fine. If you do hire someone privately, we're not saying that it's all doom and gloom. Sometimes, most of the time, you're probably going to get lucky. But is it worth the risk?
Well, I'm just a little jaded because, as I was sharing with you before the show, my mom befriended somebody who imposed as her lover, and she was highly taken advantage of, even while I'm in the picture, even while I'm in the house, daily checking on her, going back and forth, and he would sneak in, and he would take valuables. I mean, it becomes a nightmare. And to your point, Quincy, trying to get these people out of the house, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine going home and having to sort of act like life is normal
No.
when a person is in your house? I mean, to me, it's just absolutely not worth any risk. It's not worth saving $10 an hour whatsoever.
No.
So I don't always mean to be doom and gloom, but I just know how important the subject is.
And many clients who have found a caregiver, say on care.com, sometimes they'll call me and just get advice, and I always say, we can hire them. If you'd rather be protected, you can ask that caregiver to apply with us.
Good point.
And go through
wonderful.
some of those background checks that we do just to make sure that
That's
they're an employee of the
wonderful.
agency. But they would have to qualify, of course.
So any tips on how to spot or recognize somebody who's not necessarily legitimate?
Yeah, I would say if you go through Laguna Woods Social Services, pretty safe bet. I think they're going to give you agencies that are bona fide. If you're going through word of mouth or your neighbor's caregiver, or if it's just kind of just around the village, it's a little risky. And like I said, if you see a rate that feels a little low compared to agencies that social services is recommending, then that's a red flag. Big red flag. And you should do a little more homework. And you can call Salus, you can call Quincy. We don't need to have all the business. We just want to do good in the community. So if someone just wants advice, or they just want to like, is this legitimate, or does this look okay, or what, we'll tell you. We don't need to like, box somebody out and win the business. We're really here just because we want to do good and help the community. Not only, we are a business, we want to, do good work, but we love just being able to give advice and direction as well. So.
Well,
No
I
problem.
appreciate you being here and giving that advice and direction. Quincy,
Yeah.
Thank you. Bode, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate your tips and pointers. You're watching This Day on Village TV. We will be back after these messages.